Okay. So, you keeping all that in mind that Big Mama, Eva, was shot suspiciously by a sniper rifle, and she's injured, similar to how she was in MGS3, and we're headed towards the sewer, and there's some little dwarf gecko in pursuit. Well, here is where there is a pretty obvious unused or removed gameplay section. Apparently, some of the geometry of the stage ended up being used in Metal Gear Online in the Tomb of Tubes stage, but there's some completed yet completely inaccessible codec calls that shed some light on what the gameplay sequence would have been. And yeah, would you have guessed that it was going to be an escort mission with Eva? Let's give these a listen. There's quite a few strung together.
Follow that underground waterway to the rendezvous point by the river. If you follow the flow of the water, it should come out right near the rendezvous point. I'm picking up multiple gecko in the area,
Yep.
but it's still better than the reception they've got waiting for you up top. Just remember, Big Mama's in bad shape. Be ready for anything, and keep her safe. Got that? Snake, we've got a problem.
Oh?
I detected some unusual enemy movements, so I ran some scans. It turns out Big Mama's emitting a beacon signal from her
Oh,
body.
look at that.
In other words, they've got a bead on our position.
I wasn't detecting any signal before you left the hideout, which means it must have somehow been planted before you got to the waterway.
The sniper.
Sniper?
Yeah, it must have been the bullet.
Yep, so that's why
It
there's
seemed
that.
more like she got hit by an ultra-low velocity slug.
Why they
than a
hang on that,
high-velocity FMJ round.
You can tell?
That shot of the
I've
sniper.
got a sense for these things.
The slug that buried itself in Big Mama must have been carrying a capsule containing signal-emitting nanomachines.
So what now? How do we get the nanomachines to stop broadcasting our location?
Try those nanomachine suppressing hypos Naomi gave you.
So yeah, that would have been another use for the syringe that we just never get access to. You can go through this whole game, with one exception, never using the syringe. It's odd. This game's weird.
She said they can help reduce nanomachine activity in the body. They ought to work on the nanos inside Big Mama, too.
It's worth a try.
Hurry! That was it, Snake! The instant you gave Big Mama that shot, the signal faded away. By now, it's completely shut down.
So that's obviously very similar to what we do in MGS3, where we can remove the beacon from us. So rendezvousing with Eva at the waterfall goes more smoothly. It's interesting that all of this got far enough in development that there's English voice recordings that are on the disc that are in the game that explain mechanics, even things like that. You would think that they wouldn't have gotten that far with the gimmick, but no.
Drug inside Naomi's hypos is suppressing the nanomachines inside the body. Now all you have to do is take care of the rest of the dwarf gecko.
Yep,
Get
dwarf
through
gecko.
there as fast as you can and get to Big Boss's body. The drug inside Naomi's hypos is suppressing the nanomachines inside the body. That ought to throw the enemy off the trail for now. Be careful, though. Don't let them get another trace on you.
Otacon, this place is crawling with rats.
What, you were expecting a more vermin-free underground waterway?
Something's weird about the way they're moving. Like they're avoiding something or trying to get away. First the birds helped me out in South America. Now it's the rats' turn.
I don't remember that. The birds in South America, if you recall, there was a little bit Raiden said about them, and we could hear them in the background, but you never actually see them. They never actually lead you to Naomi. So this is interesting that we've got a removed feature talking about a removed feature. The rabbit hole of this game is endlessly fascinating.
If you get out of this alive, you should consider a donation to the ASPCA.
I'll think about it.
Snake, pay attention to the rats' movements. They'll help you figure out where the gecko are. Snake, what are you killing rats for?
Oh no.
Torturing small animals is a sign of a warped mind, you know? Leave them alone and get back to helping Big Mama, all right? There's water flowing just below that opening. You're in good shape, so it wouldn't be a big deal for you to fall in. But Big Mama, on the other hand, there's a guardrail to keep that from happening. But if she gets knocked back by enemy attacks, there's no guarantee it'll hold her. Take good care of Big Mama and make sure she doesn't fall in, okay?
So yeah, there's a ton. We're not done with these yet. There's more. They had a ton of mechanics planned and to some extent implemented. And they just... No, we just don't get to see it. It's weird.
Snake, you've got to protect Big Mama from enemy attacks. We can't afford to lose her. The enemy's targeting Big Mama. She's in grave danger. It's your job to protect her. Got that? What the hell are you thinking? Attacking Big Mama like that? Whatever happened to respecting your elders? Oh, for God's sake! Snake, what's gotten into you? Don't you harm another hair on her head! Not one!
Again, it's like listening to these the first time I heard them, but even now, it's crazy. There's a crazy amount of things you could have done, and the fact that they got so far as to record the English voice acting, like, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Got it? Snake! Why, you... Oh! Snake, you've got to restore Big Mama's life. Select whatever food you've got in the item window, equip it, stand in front of her, and then press the action button.
So that's interesting. You could have shared rations with her, similar to how you can with the militia.
That'll get her life back up. Big Mama looks like she's in bad shape. She needs help fast. That'll get her life back up. Time to take responsibility for what you've done. Right, Snake? To restore Big Mama's life, equip some food, stand in front of her, and press the action button.
The fact there's even alternate takes, multiple codecs explaining the mechanic, which is not too odd. There's oftentimes multiple calls explaining and re-explaining mechanics to the player, but for something that is, like, gone, completely removed, is just crazy to me.
Hurry and get her life back up! It looks like that watertight door leads to another part of this underground waterway.
Yeah, how about that?
You'll need to vary your route now and then to avoid being spotted. Those doors should come in handy. To open a watertight door, stand in front of it and press the action button. The handle came off.
So this is funny because it's a reference to MGS2. Remember when we tried to open the door on the tanker and the handle came off and Snake awkwardly put it back into place? So there's even inaccessible Easter eggs in this sequence that we'll never get to play unless, I don't know, Konami digs it out of a hard drive somewhere and finishes it.
Huh. It looks like they didn't do a very good job of maintaining these things. I did some sniffing around with the Mark II, and there seems to be a route that'll take you around to the other side of the door. You might just be able to open the door from the other side. It's worth a shot anyway. There's no handle on the door. Well, that place isn't exactly well maintained, is it? Snake, by opening that gate and letting the water out, you should reduce the risk of being seen by the gecko on the other side. Do you see a handle anywhere that might do that? If you find it, try giving it a spin. This isn't good, Snake. They've deployed Gecko armed with chemical weapons.
Oh no.
Get out of there, pronto!
So, there's going to be some more talk about this in further unused codec calls, but there is an entire variation of Gecko that spewed poison gas, and that was its main means of attack. Strangely enough, this Gecko variation would end up being used in a future game, of all things Metal Gear Survive. I am not even kidding. Somehow, not only did they finish the poison gas Gecko, but they ported them from whatever engine this is running in to whatever engine the weird third-string modified Fox engine that Survive runs in. If I can get some footage of those at some point, I'll show it.
You're not carrying a gas mask with you. One lungful of that gas and you're a goner. If there's a chance you could be hit with a gas attack, clear the area immediately. Got that? Snake, use the syringe you got from Naomi. Inject Big Mama with a nanomachine suppressant. To give someone a shot, equip the syringe and capture the target using CQC. Then, when the signal appears, just press the action button. You've got to inject Big Mama with the nanomachine suppressant. Head for the rendezvous point. Stay out of the enemy's sight. When you've made sure the coast is clear, let Big Mama know it's okay to move on. Press the action button to give her the signal.
Yep, so we could
The
do that like
rendezvous point is
MGS3.
downstream. Follow the water's flow. Snake, you can't lead Big Mama to safety when the enemy's after you like this. Get their alert level down a notch first. You're currently located east of the heliport.
Oh, okay. So that's all of those. There's some more, actually, because that's all of Otacon's. But there's more unused codec calls with Rose, of all people.
Big Mama's in pretty bad shape. She's one tough lady, but the strain on her body must be tremendous. Please, Snake, you've got to keep her safe. Snake, Big Mama's under attack. You're the only one who can protect her. Snake, you've got to protect Big Mama. She'll die if this attack keeps up. Snake, how could you? What would possess you to hurt Big Mama like that? Stop it right now. Stop that, Snake! I'm begging you!
So yeah, there's a lot of calls with characters berating you for hurting Big Mama. Again, yeah, there were calls for hitting Meryl and Emma and Eva. Yeah, this is pretty standard to have a sort of escort or a sidekick, you know, and codec calls relegated to them. It's weird, though, given how much work they put into a sequence that just they removed. It sounds like it was done. It sounds like they had everything planned and worked out, but just there's not a single remnant of it on the disc.
You monster! Ugh! Snake, a link between cruelty to animals and antisocial criminal behavior was
Yeah, there's this
established
too.
a long time ago. If you keep on killing animals for no reason, we will be forced to conduct a thorough psychological review upon your return. Snake, if you're going to lead the way for Big Mama, it's important to keep yourself in good condition. Take care of your psych gauge. Don't forget that. Snake, you've been taking an awful lot of pictures of your mother.
So this is another one too. Yeah, you could use the camera and take a bunch of pictures, and Rose would be like, "Snake, you good? That's kind of freaking me out."
I mean, far be it from me to tell you how to, amuse yourself, but is this really the best time to be updating the family album? Me?
And I think that's it for Rose. But yeah, I really hope that some of this is unearthed someday, because it really feels like I guess the idea, I have a feeling that the idea was essentially, well, the entire first part of this act was tailing someone, and then the second part was a rail shooter. If we make the third part an escort mission, the players are going to riot. So that's probably why I'm going to assume it was completed and then removed after the fact. And I understand why you would have done that, to which I go, well, just, you made the whole zone, right? Maybe just add a little sneaking part in the middle to break it up. There were other ways to change this that didn't involve just doing a whole bunch of work and then canning it. But yeah, very, very interesting. I really hope we get to see remnants of this at some point. Even just a screenshot of what it would have looked like would have been cool.